Where were we? Where were we? Oh, here. Independent voters, how they feel about Supreme Court, Colorado Supreme Court removing Trump from the ballot.
And it's here where we have a simple question for customers.
Tell me your gut feeling. Do you think it's a good thing the Colorado Supreme Court did that or not a good thing?
You know, I'm not the biggest fan of Trump, but I don't think people should be taken off the ballot necessarily.
This man is a political independent in a very Republican county. So here in the county seat of Castle Rock, it's easy to find loyal Trump Republicans who feel the same as this man.
What do you think of the Supreme Court decision?
I think it's unfair.
How come?
Government shouldn't get in that position to control votes for certain candidates.
But we did find this Democrat who says that's precisely what this court needed to do.
I think it's a great decision. I think that when you try to overturn an election, you don't get to run again. You know, we have a 14th Amendment for a reason.
Back inside coffee, loyal Trump supporter Tony Klanaris.
Whoa, coffee. That's, hey, you know who's from coffee? Lobo! Lauren motherfucking Boebert, baby. Or no, not coffee. Rifle. No, that's rifle. I'm wrong. Is it Rifle, Colorado, or is it Coffee, Colorado? Or it's Rifle, right? Fuck, I fucked it up. Lobo! Black Rifle Coffee, Colorado. Maybe if you paid more attention to Colorado, you'd notice we're at the top of the hour. That's so low effort, dude. That is so fucking low effort, dog. That's messed up. That's actually messed up. Anyway. And he still got you? Yeah, well, I was not paying attention. At the top of the hour, there's a 3-minute ad break. If you no longer want to see those ads, all you need to do is subscribe, which you can do for $5 or for free with the Twitch Prime by connecting your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account. Lover, but you still fell for it. Gotta get sharper, bud. Yeah, I know. All right, here's the 3-minute ad break now. It's level 1 hype train. Why does the hype train look gold? What does that mean? Did they change the color of the hype train, or is that like a gold Kappa train or some shit? Faith 577, thank you for the 5. Get the subs, allowing 5 people to no longer see the ads at the top of the hour.
Doesn't take this decision seriously. She thinks the Supreme Court taking Trump off the primary ballot is a result of game playing.
Why do you think they're playing a game and not doing their job?
What do you think about the decision? One thing I feel no one's talking about is if SCOTUS intervenes, assists the president, the federal government can tell states how to run their elections, which is something I thought Republicans don't want. I mean, I don't know. I'm sure there's a very narrow way to make sure that that decision doesn't somehow interfere with that. MXGDX Leno. Also, I don't think that the Colorado Supreme Court is correct for doing this. I don't. I think it's not. I don't think it's a valid thing to do. I think it's cool that in the United States of America, you can actually be put on a ballot. Even if you are a prisoner, even if you are literally convicted as a criminal. I do. Explain why that's cool. Why do I think it's cool that prisoners can run? I think it's awesome. I think more prisoners should run. I'm not saying it's a slippery slope at all. I think it's dope. Like, obviously there's limitations, but Should he be able to run after trying to take the election? I mean, if he gets fucking criminally prosecuted and found guilty, specifically in election interference, specifically in what he is currently being tried for, then that's a different process, right? It's like I believe in rehabilitation, but like, yeah, if you're a bank robber and you got caught robbing a bank, I'm not going to be like, all right, back to the bank with you, you know? Perhaps maybe we should cool out from going to the bank for a little bit. Right? So because the crime is so directly related to the election, then yes, it does make sense, but only after he's convicted. But beyond that, I think, like, if you're a suspected communist or you're a conscientious objector to World War I or some shit and you get fucking tossed in the jail, you should be able to run. You could run. It's cool. I think more criminals should literally run for president from jail. Possibly could even be a good way to, I don't know, get people to pay attention to prisoners' rights.
Part of the game.
And what's that game?
Not being honest.
Don't you think that Trump has been honest?
For the most part, yeah.
Her friend concurs, saying that she feels
Outrage. Absolute outrage.
Joey Exotic tried this and you laughed? Yeah, because it's Joey Exotic. I'm talking like Joey Exotic didn't run for prisoners' rights, wasn't a serious person at all. He ran because he wanted to get clouded up. I'm talking like if you're actually, I don't know, put in jail for being gay about pussy. You know what I mean? A very real thing that you can go to jail for, by the way. Like, you should still be able to run for president and then run on that campaign of, like, fellas should be able to be gay about pussy. Like that, yeah, Joe, what was it? Joe Coy? Jocko Willnick. That guy.
her friend concurs, saying that she feels
outrage, absolute outrage. That
Why were you outraged?
They're going to take away our choice based on.
I love this because it's like, yeah, I could tell that she's conservative just by looking at her fucking haircut, dude.
Their personal beliefs, because I don't believe they're speaking for the people.
But Elle Gray believes the justices are. She's an independent who has voted for Donald Trump, but says she won't be voting for him again if he ends up back on the ballot.
I agree with their ruling that he engaged in insurrection, yes.
So do you think it was the right thing to do?
For my state, yes.
Keith Raymond has voted for Donald Trump twice, but says this time around he's supporting Chris Christie. His opinion is more nuanced.
It's a complicated issue, but if the law is the law and the Supreme Court is stating it, we have to abide by it. Doesn't mean I'm a fan of it.
God, you're such a loser. Why do you... There's no reason to ever vote for Christopher Christie. It doesn't make sense. Just vote for a Democrat then, dog. They literally believe the same shit. Like, if you look at Donald Trump and you're like, I'm going to vote for someone else, okay, you're either a fucking weirdo. Like, why would you vote for Ron DeSantis? You're like, I like Donald Trump. I like his policies, but I want his policies to be delivered by the most socially anxious, most uncomfortable lizard in a human skin suit motherfucker you could find. Is that it? You love how little Rhonda has no Riz? Is that what it is? But if you're ultimately like a Chris Christie fan, just vote for the Democrats. Like, they are the same. I will never understand why people look at Chris Christie on the Republican side and go, yeah, that's my guy. No, you're a Democrat, homie. That's what you are. Just vote for the Democratic Party.
Many Coloradans are still digesting the court ruling. The varied opinions in this shop about Donald Trump, symbolic of countless discussions in this state and this country. Kelsey Nistel is a Democrat.
I think that what he did was unacceptable.
Can you unban me from your subreddit if I sub on here? I don't know what you said or did, but the very fact that you were banned from my subreddit and want to be on it again is terrifying to me. I almost feel like I should ban you here. What did you say in the subreddit? Which I don't even really control at all, nor do I ever look at. I mean, I look at it sometimes. Let's hear it. Why did you get banned from the subreddit? I personally... Wait, what? Oh, this guy's this is why. Said Hamas was bad. Oh, this is why I hate Reddit so much. It's like every Redditor automatically operates like this. Okay? Every Redditor is like there's 0% chance he just said Hamas was bad. Okay? He 100% said it within a completely, not in those terms, and within a completely contextually inappropriate way. But like even the act of being banned from the subreddit, which I don't even fucking control for the most part, like that has to turn into this act of like aggression that you have to portray yourself as the major victim of. Like, why is it? Why do you have to operate this way? Like, why? Can Redditors not hold themselves back from constantly acting like they're Julian Assange because they fucking got banned from a subreddit for doing shit that was way worse, you know what I mean, than the way that they're presenting themselves? It's always this shit. I'm not a victim. Law was just a question. No, I know you're not a victim, but you're presenting yourself as though you did something totally innocuous, got banned. You're asking to be unbanned, but the real reason why you're asking to be unbanned is not because you want to post in my subreddit. Who the fuck gives a shit about posting in my subreddit, dumbass? Make a new fucking account, okay? But like, it's not even about posting in my subreddit. Usually, it's just about making a big deal about being banned from the subreddit, specifically so that you can get Reddit karma elsewhere. I got banned on the Hasanabi subreddit for saying Hamas is bad. This means they love Hamas. It's always like an attention-seeking, karma farming operation for every Redditor. Redditors quite literally operate in this way when they're, you know, meeting their own when they're interacting with people, when they're interacting with people in the real world. Like they'll be like, Mom, I'm going to be telling about this story later on Am I the Asshole? And I'm going to get 10,000 upvotes. I'm going to put myself in a situation in the real world so I can go write about it on my favorite subreddit. Anyway, Chatter, I don't know what you said. I don't know why you want to be in the subreddit so bad. Oh. Redditors are just like Assange, as neither has touched a bar of soap since 2019. True. I also don't like when people talk about how they got banned from r/world news too, but like I get it. That's like the whole point of Reddit, is talking about how you got banned from other subreddits. I do feel like a lot of this stuff is just I feel like a lot of this stuff on Reddit is just like super overblown. Yeah, just use it like a normal person for porn. Anyway, let's continue listening to what these Trump supporters have to say.
For our country, and we should face the consequences for that.
Jake Herman is a Republican.
I think if that was a legitimate thing that happened, if he was part of an insurrection, he would have been arrested. He wasn't arrested.
The Colorado primary is March 5th. Omar, at least on this day, we did not talk to any fervent Trump supporters who plan on switching to a different Republican candidate on primary day if Trump's name is no longer on the ballot. Instead, what we heard from some people is they plan to write in Trump's name. But under this ruling, a write-in vote for Trump would not count. Omar?
Gary Tuchman, thank you.
And joining us now to talk more about this and all of the legal troubles facing Donald Trump right now, CNN senior legal analyst Ellie Honig is here. Ellie, I want to, if we can, I've got a lot of questions about the immunity question. Jack Smith asking the Supreme Court to step in the federal elections case, because we now have the Trump team filing their response and saying they don't want the high court to get involved. And here is just a piece of the filing. Caitlin Polance was kind of alluding to this. Trump's team writing, the special counsel never explains why March 4th, 2024 is supposedly the only appropriate timetable for this historic prosecution. The legal team also says this date has no talismanic significance. His team also argued that the matter should be resolved in a cautious, deliberative manner, not at breakneck speed. What do you think of Trump's team's argument here?
I think that's a very effective argument in this particular case, because the issue here is all about timing, right? Mm-hmm. Jack Smith won the immunity argument below. Donald Trump lost. The district court judge said, you're not immune, Donald Trump. Jack Smith is saying, rather than the normal way this would go, which is it goes to the Intermediate Court of Appeals and then maybe the Supreme Court, Jack Smith's saying, and it's unusual, but it happens. He says, let's skip the middle layer and go right to the top. The problem for Jack Smith is, you have to have a specific reason for that. And Jack Smith will not say it's because of the election, because he doesn't want to look political.
Why not?
Right. Why won't he say it? Because he believes, I believe, that he understands that would be inherently political. If he said, I want to try Donald Trump before the election, Donald Trump would pounce on it.
I don't want to look political. How about that?
Exactly. Well, the fact that Jack Smith refuses to say it, I think, is telling in its own right. Okay. But Jack Smith won't say it's because of the election. Instead, if you look at his brief, it's all this vague generalities about, well, we need speed because speed is good and speedy resolution and delay is bad. And Donald Trump's team in that brief that came in last night sees that weakness and they go right at it. They say, he has not offered us any specific reason. And they suggest strongly it's obviously because of the election date. And I think they have the better argument there. Whether that's a cause to expedite or not, we'll see what the Supreme Court does.
Then jump ahead. Mm-hmm. Why would the justices want to look at the immunity issue now or not now? Mm-hmm. What does it hinge on? And what do you think, if they take it up, what they would do?
Okay, so I think this will end up in the Supreme Court. It's a constitutional issue. It's an issue that we don't really have precedent on and that we need some guidance on. I think they will take it up before the Supreme Court, before the election happens. I'm not sure they'll expedite it anymore. They may want to let it go through the Court of Appeals. There is some legitimate value having a case go through the Court of Appeals.
So the March 4th date is very clearly probably in question.
I think either way, whether it's expedited or not, March 4th is in big trouble. And keep in mind, it's not just March 4th. Jury selection starts February 9th. So even if the Supreme Court says, we're going to take this and we're going to expedite it to the highest degree, I don't think they get it done by February 9th. Now, to your final question, which is, if and when the Supreme Court takes this case, how are they likely to rule? A lot of speculation here, but the best indication we have is there was a somewhat similar case a few years ago involving a subpoena from the Manhattan DA in the hush money case. Trump said, well, I'm president. I don't have to argue. He lost 7-2. He had Thomas and Alito with him. The other 7 were against him. This is somewhat similar. I think Alito and Thomas would probably be for Trump on immunity. The 3 liberals were certain.
There was a chatter who said, can we see what that Redditor actually said? And I am still thinking about it. I just don't have any way of finding out how. I don't know how I would be able to figure out what the Redditor said.
Certainly be against Trump on immunity.
Been stuck in
and
my
that leaves
head.
us with Kavanaugh, Gorsuch, Amy Coney Barrett, and Chief Justice Roberts. If I had to bet, I would think Trump loses. I think it's more likely Trump loses. But
Loader, ask him his username. Is he still in here? Did he get banned in here too? What was it, Queechy or something? What the fuck was it?
He's got a shot here. He has a non-zero chance to succeed. And if he does win, by the way, on immunity, Jack Smith's January 6th case is over. That's how high the stakes are.
Yeah, that really is an important thing to point out. This isn't just something. This isn't just like nothing as part of this huge case and investigation that's been ongoing now for so long.
It's dispositive. It's all or nothing.
I actually don't understand what, like, it's Loader, it's Kushi, but I don't know what his username is.